Tell me when.
It's the podcast screen live on my Twitch now.
It's good to go, my man.
That's us.
Oh, let's go for it then. Let's get back into this. Yeah, another nice new episode, mate. Welcome to another exciting episode of the ScotsRant podcast with me, your host, Gizzy the Gremlin.
And me, Reece William.
And as always, the only rule to this podcast is make sure you have a nice alcoholic beverage.
As always.
And be prepared to talk a load of crap for the next hour.
It's always the best way of doing it, mate. It's always the best way of doing it.
Well, most podcasts, that's all it really is, isn't it? Just talking shit for about an hour or so.
Aye, we do it on a Friday night with a drink, so you can't complain too much. It's a hard life, isn't it?
It's hard, not life.
No, we're getting old. We're getting old. This is what it's came to, eh?
No, just think about it. Think back about 5 years ago. What would we be doing right now on a Friday night?
Quiet pint.
Exactly.
I know, man.
More into that in a later episode.
Yes, let's leave that for now. But so kind of just going on tonight's topics. We've had a slight issue with scheduling, which is through no fault of Grav's own.
It's not even our fault, mate. If anybody wants to know, I was doing a really solid favour for somebody, so
that's it.
I've said to him we'll get it rescheduled. We'll have sorted out and we'll get Grav.
Yeah, we'll get him back on as of 2 weeks from now, as long as everything suits. Doing a favour for a good friend of his, and you know what, you can't grumble. He's a good thing. I mean, yeah, he's for it's for a good cause, and what?
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with that at all. But anyway, let's kind of look at it as we are. So we are going talking about.
I would say the perfect example. Let's look at this instead of the glass half empty, the glass half full. But if mine's is half empty, I want to top it up.
Aye, that's fair. That's fair. You always want it topped up, though, mate. I know. Forget. There we are. But aye. So for first things first. Probably just looking at streaming platforms, and then with the change that's coming, or may have already came to ads within Twitch itself, and how they're going to be running mid-roll ads because streamers aren't running enough ads on stream to make Twitch enough money. So yeah, the hard hitting topics tonight.
We talk about hard hitting topics. At the end of the day, this only thing does is make the small guy suffer if you want.
Aye, you're right there. It's not. It's good, and it's good from a business standpoint, but it's bad in the sense of when you're sitting there, small streamer like I am, and it's 3 to 5 people in, and you're slowly grinding up followers, and then the next thing you know, you've had an ad go that you don't know about, or apparently there's not going to be any kind of warning that you get. It just depends on how long someone's been watching your stream.
Yep.
And then they might think that you've scheduled an ad, which, okay, I understand. Some people, this is more of a livelihood than it is for ourselves, but
more of a livelihood than it is a hobby.
Yes, but they don't tend to run ads. They tend to have it as, believe it or not, as a command, channel points thing. With somebody hits enough channel points for the meme, they run an ad, and that's just the way it is, kind of thing. You know what? It is what it is. I do think it's going to probably get changed. Or we're going to get more clarity on it. So, like, when the ads are going to be more likely to run.
Yeah, well, they need to tell us more and more about it as it goes on. At the end of the day, as you said, a lot of people like us, for example, we're small streamers. We're averaging if you will. We're not even in double figures for an app, especially
No.
not in double figures. All it takes is for one new person to decide, all right, let's jump into the stream, let's see what this person's like, and what's the first thing they could get? What's the first thing they get hot with after watching you for say 15 minutes? Smack with a pre-rolled ad, which is nothing to do with you, and
Yeah.
you don't even know anything about it.
Yeah, I know.
Welcome in, Rigger.
It's one of those things is you'll never really know, and I think it is being tested on streamers. I don't think it's fully rolled out yet. But you don't know if it's you. That's the thing. So I know that like, for example, one of my friends is quite vocal about it. And there was a kind of thought that he might have actually been shadow banned on Twitch.
I think I remember you tweeting something about that, or we spoke something about that.
It was Nath.
Yeah, I think you should remember me about that.
It was July time ish, July into August, and it just felt like he's a big streamer, and has a lot of, like, he makes a lot of content. He's on YouTube, get over 1,500 followers. His content changes fairly regularly, similar to yourself, but again, it's all around different types of strategy stuff. Same as what I do. But
what are you doing, by the way? I can see your PC going off in the background, or it's like he's jumping about.
I'm messing around, making sure that I can see everything. That's all.
I thought you were just having a wee rave to yourself.
That's all I need, man. Keeps me going.
I was starting to think it was going back to those quiet pint nights.
We're in hush already. I'm going absolutely mental already this time. But
to be fair, I think at this point I've probably snapped a pool cue at this point.
Someone has. It might not have been you, but someone's done themselves some damage. But like, I don't know if it was a change in the algorithm with Twitch, but he just didn't seem to be pulling in. So when I started watching him, I started watching him, and he was probably pulling in anywhere from 15 to 25 viewers on average.
Yeah.
And then in this period of a month, he had issues with Twitch in general, but he was going between 6 and 12, and his content hadn't changed that much. It hadn't changed that much that it was going to make any kind of major difference like that. So you're left thinking to yourself, what's going on with the algorithm? And I know that in a lot of different platforms, YouTube and even just use Twitter, like, the algorithms change that often that it's harder to find your content, and it's harder to find content, or people find that their content isn't getting seen as often as it used to be with your first impressions.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard for basically it's harder for a creator who thinks they're doing the right thing for a time, and then they're then left thinking, hold on, what's changed? Have I changed? Is my content not as good? Because on Twitch there's very little feedback apart from viewer numbers and comments, but not everybody comments. Some people are quite happy just to lurk and support that way. But like, he was left thinking to himself, what have I done?
So what am I doing wrong?
Yeah. And then as time went on, his numbers have went back up. They kind of fluctuate a bit now, but they've went back up, and he's getting a lot more engagement, things like that. So it seems to have sorted itself out, but it's not quite exactly what it was. So like, over the kind of years, because you've been on this platform a lot longer than me, you've watched a lot more streamers than me. Have you noticed things like that, like the ebb and flow of a streamer, like them have issues with viewer numbers when in theory they shouldn't have issues?
Well, it really just depends, mate. I've seen like some people do absolutely amazing. Like I do know a couple of people at the time, they were toxic. They were pulling in almost partner numbers, so you're looking almost at the 75 plus numbers. They were doing that for, if you want, say 2, 3, 4 weeks. They were doing absolutely amazing, and then all of a sudden they ended up back down to trying to get affiliation again. if you want, in the way to think about
Right.
it.
So it's literally dropped
So
down to like where we are from those kind of crazy
basically,
numbers.
I've seen it happen to a couple of streamers. I know some of them have done it because of game choice. If you want,
Yeah, yeah, I get
like
that.
in this game, their game kind of, if you want, catapulted them to where they wanted to be. Then all of a sudden,
They
they're back down
change
to the
and
very bottom again.
right. So
It
that's
really does just depend.
aye. That's fair. That's fair.
I've, I've never seen like a shadow ban, to be honest with you. I've seen proper bans, and I've seen. I was there when Twitch actually had a meltdown over one of the Fortnite events where there was nobody being able to go live in certain areas. Like,
we had that though
perfect
quite
example.
recently as well.
Well, take the perfect example, mate. Since you know the guy as well, me and Jedi kind of collabed together to play Apex one day.
Yeah.
We said, all right, we'll play Apex. We'll dual stream it. We both got it. Blah 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 blah. Going that route, and then when we both tried to hit live, everything was running smoothly on our side, but nothing was appearing on Twitch's side.
And you were left thinking to yourself, "Hold on, what's going on here?"
Well, the best part about it was, mate, is Jedi decided he was going to go. He went early. If you wanted to decide to hit the live button early, and he was live for about 2 hours, and he was sitting for 2 hours with zero viewers, zero anything. There wasn't even the bots that you get in your chat. There was nothing there.
It was basically just dead.
And it took him the 2 hours. He's like, wait a minute, what's the script here? And that's when he messaged me going, are you watching my stream now? And I went, you haven't went live yet. And he goes, aye, I've been live for 2 hours. So that's when I started checking. I'm like, according to Twitch, mate, you're offline still.
Aye, so there's something though right there. Like the thing is though, the reason why I'm saying shadow banned is it might not have been, but you hear about it on all these
Yeah.
different platforms anyway. It's basically just as if your engagement halves or whatever. So it happens on Instagram, it happens on Twitter. So in theory, you could think that it would happen on Twitch. But it's
Yeah,
what
you know, the Twitchy CIA just came in and put you away.
FBI open up and it's my raid alarm going off and it's the world's ending. But like, there's, don't know, something I would like to try and find out more about. There's definitely something. There's something there, but you wouldn't know unless you knew someone direct at Twitch or
Yeah,
someone that had worked
there's
for them.
there's no way I've been able to find out unless you like completely know if you want something has happened.
Yeah,
You know somebody if you know somebody behind the scenes, somebody that's messing about with the algorithms if you want.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it was. I think it's, for example, if there is.
Hello, Bubbles.
Welcome in, Babs. I think it could be anything as simple as that, but I don't know. It might just be if you're not live at a certain time, or if it's maybe, don't know. There could be so many different things that play it up.
Well,
But like,
a lot of people they tell you, like a lot of people have been streaming for a long time, and I'm pretty sure the likes of Babs could back this up. And if Grav was here, Grav would back it up and stuff. Is the best way to start getting growth is sticking to a schedule.
yeah,
And the minute you start to peel off that schedule, if you want, that's when you start seeing like changes.
yeah, you could say that. That's very fair. That you can get those kind of changes. Aye, because scheduling. Well, I've noticed it myself. Is scheduling has been a much. I mean, obviously with work, I've not been on as much as I want, but I have been more regular. 8 o'clock,
You have
whatever time. My
like
days,
for me, try to
yeah,
me as well. Like try to work night shift off. Like I don't think I work Fridays anyway. I don't work a Friday in God knows how long. So that's why we kind of made this like, Friday deal because I'll always be here. But
yeah.
during the week, I'm finding it difficult. I do find it difficult.
I know. I can imagine because it's I mean, night shifts are hell. there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Night shifts are fucking hell.
She's the man, you've been working my job.
No, I couldn't even face it, to be honest, man. But
The things that happen.
aye, but I think it's right. So scheduling probably could be a factor in what you would perceive as a shadow ban if you changed your schedule. But
Yeah,
you would think, like, even if it's only slight changes of like an hour, which I believe Nath was kind of trialing at the time. Even at that, it wasn't even that first week, but it happened. It was probably the first week of almost easing of lockdown. Like the as funny to say that as we're going back in, but we'll put that.
No,
I know, but
we'll find out more about that on Monday.
I know. But I don't know.
And again, subject for another day.
Aye, one of many. But like, I believe it could have been something as simple as that. But he's got too many followers for it to be quite as severe a drop of like those kind of numbers when he's been quite regular. But again, organization of like these kind of like platforms themselves, they change all the time and things get updated at different times. So it might very well be that Twitch was updating something and just so happened that Nath's type of channel or something fell under the works and it left him sitting not right. And it's one of those things that it's probably something as simple as that. But yeah,
it could be. It could be, mate. Like as we said, we're never going to really know. Like
yeah,
it works out unless you work for these companies, i.e., like see your Twitch at the time, your Mixer who are no longer there, your Facebook gaming, your YouTube,
yeah,
even all these new platforms are starting to appear. Like Trovo, I think's another one.
yeah,
They mainly deal with mobile games and stuff like that, and the new one that's going to be starting up soon, Brine. Unless you work with all of these and start to figure out the algorithm and stuff, and in a sense find out what makes it tick,
yeah,
you're not really going to know, like, for example, why is this person who I've been watching for ages pulling in all these big numbers now all of a sudden they would struggle to make affiliate.
yeah. No, I know it's a weird one. It's a weird one. But like, so what do you make of well, first and foremost, it's been a while now that Mixer's been out. Obviously it was it was obviously a money thing for Microsoft. They couldn't afford to keep it running, and it just wasn't financially viable, which was a shame. But obviously, a lot of the streamers have moved to different platforms and found reasonable success again. So it's not
Yeah.
too bad. I'm talking about small to mid tier. I'm not talking about like your kind of high tier who are just
Yeah, the people, well, yeah, people who really came back for Mixer if you want, like say your ninjas, your shrouds, stuff like that, who left and went to Mixer. Your King,
aye.
was it King Italian? I'm sure was another one who's
Yeah,
quite a
I
big
mean
Destiny 2
they've
streamer.
made good money from nothing.
They're set up for life.
Aye, I know. Well, Ninja was already, and Shroud was already set up for life, but Shroud's numbers have been going down anyway, so that could be
Yeah,
another thing.
Shroud, when he was on Twitch and everything, he was only averaging. I say this as if it's nothing in a sense, but he was only averaging, if you want, between your 10 to 30,000 people at a stream.
Yeah,
But it all depended. It was all dependent on his game.
yeah,
If he was playing the likes of PUBG or Apex Legends or something like that, that's when he put in the big numbers. But that's just because Shroud is, if you want, the FPS god.
aye, that's it. But I think one of those things, and
But there's another one as well. If you want to go and talk about this, you can talk about the hype factor.
yeah, the hype of them coming back to different things, and
Well, one of the best ones to even talk about, mate. Talk about Dr. Disrespect, who left the stream running for 24 hours and never appeared on it once.
yeah,
And tweeted after like 12 hours, he tweeted out, "I'll see you all tomorrow," and left it going. And I think he had something like 300,000 people in the chat at one point.
I think
that was on YouTube.
I think it peaked at something massive. But that was basically because there had been nothing really heard from him for so long that it basically just caused, I don't know, it just caused so much hype. And that's the thing, is there's always a lot of hype around Dr. Disrespect. And whatever platform he went to would have been, he would have been a massive draw no matter what.
Regardless.
So if it was something to do with him creating a deal with someone to go to Brine or whatever was rumoured, I know it probably wasn't that, but if that was the case,
the rumor at the start was him, Shroud, and Ninja were all supposed to be going to this platform that was actually unknown at the time. And then all of a sudden, because Brine came into the picture, they all speculated it was Brine, but it was completely unknown. Supposedly, they were talking about starting up their own streaming one, run by streamers for the streamers in a sense.
yeah, and I mean, again, that's a fantastic idea something like that. It's just,
business idea.
yeah, it's a fantastic idea. But the thing is, you don't just start from the bottom. You make sure that you also have that small and mid tier covered. And it's one of those things. Is how that would have worked. You don't know, because obviously it'd have been
Well,
it'd have
the
been
best,
a clusterfuck, to
right,
put it in a pleasant way.
well, the best one to think about, mate, because I did watch a documentary by the Score Esports on the closing down a Mixer, and they spoke
Uh-huh.
to a lot of spoke to a lot of Mixer partners, had different clips from different Mixer partners, and it was basically said was they all got an email out saying Mixer's closing, you're all free to come to Facebook Gaming, you will keep your partnership over there, but it was basically in a sense you'll keep your partnership, but you'll be starting fresh.
Aye. How long did they get notice wise, like as in to swap away? That
I
was my
think it was only about a month.
aye.
I think it was not long at all.
Aye, so I mean that makes sense, because they would,
It was literally the people who ran Mixer found out about Mixer closing down at the same time as all the streamers.
right. But I mean that makes sense, because it does. I thought it shut down a lot quicker than that. That was my thing.
Like I said, as I said, you could be completely wrong. Something like fireworks off. I could be completely wrong.
Aye.
I know for a fact it wasn't any longer than a month. It was a month or less.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. But at least it gives.
Anybody in the chat knows, feel free to say.
I keep us right, because these are only poorly researched. But I think it gives people a bit of time to kind of swap things like that.
Well, like I said, a lot of them basically, a lot of the streamers who lost over Mixer, because Mixer was first brought into play for mainly it was for Xbox. That's
Yeah,
what it was for. It was for Xbox, because that's at one point that's all you could stream on. It was Xbox. They didn't support PlayStation. They didn't support, and then they started to try to broaden out if you want.
yeah,
But everybody who was in Mixer, they, if you want, they all built a tight knit community. That's what it was to them. It was a tight knit community. It was, in other words, a family.
Aye, it was a lot smaller as well, so that's why it was so
Yeah.
tight knit.
Yeah, it was a lot smaller. They all helped each other. They all did everything they done. I've dropped my bottle opener on the floor. Sad face.
At times.
They did everything that needed to be done.
Aye.
But to be honest, it was one of those things that kind of did shaking up. It kind of did give a shake to, if you want, streamers who were jumping the platforms and stuff. But it's going to be one of those old arguments. Like, to be fair, Twitch has been about the longest, if you want, for all the platforms now, because they did start off as just a TV.
Yep.
Okay, and what you got, they have the biggest viewer base, they've got the biggest support base, and the best way to explain it is you're literally, if you're going to bring out a streaming platform, you cannot challenge Twitch. You shouldn't be trying to.
Because the thing is, you need to be offering something different from Twitch, or trying to be a little bit different from Twitch.
Yeah, well, one thing that was pointed out to me was that Trovo, basically the mobile gaming one I was telling you about.
Yeah.
I'm just picking my bottle now.
Nice.
This is the most important tool. This is the most important one.
So,
if you log on to it and even bring it up, not a problem at all, Babs. No problem at all. If you look at Trovo at all, mate, if you want to pop it up on your screen or whatever, it's a complete carbon copy of Twitch's homepage as well. If you have a look at it, it's a complete carbon copy of Twitch's homepage the minute you open it up.
I'm opening it up the now. It is, oh my god, it is so similar that it is unreal. Yeah.
Remember, you can't show some of that on stream. You can't do cross branding.
I know. Well, unless they want to zoom into my wardrobe behind me. But I'm having a look. So like, yeah,
well, I was waiting you to turn into the Noma guy a minute ago. You know, the way your screens were going to start going like that.
I know. God, but you know, you're right. 110%. I mean, I'm looking at the viewer numbers on it, right? And you're looking at, it's tiny compared to Twitch. They're trying.
There you go. If you go for that right now, since we're both on it, okay. I'll fire up Twitch. You tell me right now, what is the most viewed game right now on Trovo?
It's GTA 5.
GTA 5. How many people?
2.2k.
Oh, there you go. 2.2k. The game that I'm really into the new, as you know yourself, Dragon Ball Fighters, right now is sitting on 2.5k.
And that's one of the smaller games just now.
Right now, the biggest game right now being played is Among Us right now on Twitch with 328,561 people.
Do you want to know how many people are playing Among Us on, or how many people are watching Among Us on Trovo? 346.
Well, it just proves to you, not even a tenth.
No, and I'm looking to see. So Football Manager's there. Just that's one of the things we were talking about. What of this? Like I'm wanting to see if any of my games. Now my games are small tier, like on Twitch, as in we'll apart from CK3. CK3 is just fucking blowing the shit out of the water. 40k it's been averaging, and it's insane.
Yeah.
But
take it for the example, mate. Take it for the example. Like all the games that I play, like all the fighting games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The biggest one right now for the fighting games is decides to switch over. Alright, according to this, it's Minecraft, but I don't even know when Minecraft became a fighting game.
Oh god. Oh my god. Warhammer. Warhammer 2 has one viewer. One viewer it's got. That is insane. Like
wow.
Just
wow.
And I'm just having that kind of quick scan. It's got 9 followers on it, so it's not particularly big.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a right. So there's the other issue. Is it's just lumped all Warhammer games together. This is someone playing Vermintide, one of the slightly different games.
Yeah. Well, it hasn't even split categories. It's just lumped them together.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's crazy. Oh well, that's
Shows you it.
It's a bit of a shame, but fair dues. I mean, put it this way, right? Competition's good, right? So, from a marketing standpoint, competition helps other systems grow, right? Because it makes people innovate. For people when they innovate, it makes things better for makes things better just for basically the user. So that might be why Twitch has seen that there's these different ones coming in, and they've maybe thought to themselves, right, let's work out how we can fix our monetization issue. Not like they don't get enough. I mean, they get 50% of subs. They get a premium on bits.
50%. It's only 50% of subs to affiliates. When you become a partner, you actually discuss it if you want, and you end up with a better share.
Well, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. But it's when you finally get to partner, if you get to partner, like like I mean,
cheers.
I've finished my alcohol at this point. I've got a wee drop left downstairs, so I'll go get that for Among Us. But like, so yeah, say 50%. Just looking at it that way, the amount of subs and the amount of gifted subs across the platform, it's a lot of money going about day to day with the amount of people that are watching.
Yeah.
Then you get just the standard ads, which will generate a reasonable amount of money because of the amount of people, that are just following, and that'll add to things. So not just that, you've got specific partnership deals that Twitch will do. Twitch will probably make decent money from the streaming of Rainbow Six tournaments. They'll both make good money, but they'll both have deals with sponsorships and other things to help ease things along. If you know what I mean.
Well, think about it in this way. It was the same way YouTube at the start as well. It's actually third-party companies, if you want, who provide the money. That's when you before starting off. Like, I think one of the biggest ones at YouTube's time was Machinima Respawn.
Yes, but with Machinima, because this is something me and my mates looked into. Their contract was so dodgy that you would still make money through them, but you signed away so much of your content that
You don't need to even explain that. Like,
you know what?
I heard one of the best ones off of Mr. Sark. He was speaking about it one day, and it was one of the basically he didn't go into too much detail and stuff, but he said it's one of the main reasons why he split with Machinima and went on down his own path.
That's why Machinima is not a thing anymore. Like they burned their bridges when people found out what the contracts were. Like it was so damaging to the company itself. Because I remember watching Machinima Respawn. I watched all their COD videos, and I submitted clips to get featured, and trying like all that kind of thing back in the dark days of Call of Duty 4 and World at War, when we were probably, well, you're still pretty good at the damn game, but back when I was good at the game.
Back in the day when your room was like a bloody dungeon, you know, all you had was a bloody bottle of lotions and tissues.
Well, let's not get into that. Let's not get into that, man. But
your face says it all.
was no lotion. But
That's the right thing for you.
aye, but no, they basically took so much of the YouTube ad revenue that and then when people realised that how much they could actually make on their own channels with those views, that it then left them thinking, hold on, why are we paying Machinima to run these ads when in fact they're not actually doing anything? They were promoting stuff, which you understand, but they weren't actually doing anything over and above, and that's what left like in a bad taste. So like YouTubers like somebody I used to watch years ago when he played COD, Modern Warfare 2, it was Big Star 123, who's part of the Sidemen. He's still massive. Like they're killing things on YouTube. It's insane. But like
the best thing as well, like we can go down a wee side path into that before as soon as you finish. So continue, because I can bring you down a nice wee side path.
Aye. So basically, like when I watched a podcast he was on, not that long ago, and basically he was just talking about how as soon as he hit the age where he realised what was going on, he lawyered up so fast, because when you get a 12-year-old to sign a contract or a 13-year-old to sign a contract, that shit's illegal. And when obviously you think, when you sign this, you think to yourself, oh, I'm making money, there's not really going to be any issues. And then you start to realise, hold on, why am I handing over however much this money, what they actually giving me, and
all you're handing over X amount.
All they were getting was the Machinima Respawn logo, and a few other things that really didn't benefit. They were on the Machinima website, but most folk would get the content from YouTube instead of the Machinima website at the time. But when they realised how much money they were losing and that there wasn't quite as much to it, I can't remember when it properly broke the straw broke the camel's back, but there was the ones that left, and then there was the ones that basically made Machinima renegotiate, but they never recovered after that, and that's when things just gradually.
That was roughly about 20 between 2010 to 2012, if you want. That started to happen.
But Machinima Machinima didn't actually die off until 2015. That's be right in saying.
I think you may be right. I know they were going about for a wee while longer, but like everybody else, like you can search it up, but like everybody else, mate, I never really focused on Machinima. I wasn't really the biggest fan of Machinima. I preferred a company called Rooster Teeth.
Yep, I watched them as well.
And what I liked about Rooster Teeth, I actually liked the Red versus Blue.
Yeah. And I watched them. I didn't start watching Red versus Blue like you did. I actually started watching their. Actually, it was the podcast I started listening to, on YouTube when I was in the house.
Oh, how things come full circle.
I know. Tell me about it. But then it was. I started watching it for It was it Bernie and Jeff. They did something, and then I discovered their shorts, and then I kind of went from there. But like,
Yeah.
and Machinima died actually as late as 2019. They laid off their last employees in 2019. It was,
Well,
but I
it
think,
is a school day.
but I think what I'm thinking is 2015, 2016 is when like that's when everything was just burning around them. But
Yeah,
I
basically the world is ending type of
yeah,
situation.
but I would actually like make a point that Rooster Teeth is starting to go the way of Machinima. They are a lot of the founding fathers, as they're called, have left.
Yeah.
The only one that's really still there in a full creative management kind of role is, I believe, still Jeff Ramsey.
Yeah.
So he's more, as per usual, he focuses more on the achievement hunter side of things.
Achievement Hunter was one of the better sides of it. Like,
Yeah,
my early YouTube days were mixed between, if you want, a mix between the Syndicate project with zombie videos.
yep, I
That's
remember
when I
them.
was playing a lot of Call of Duty Zombies. Rooster Teeth's Red versus Blue, along with some sketches. And
Yep.
one thing I really liked, I loved the rage quits that they used to do.
Oh, Michael, he's still there.
I
Like
loved the rage
he's
quits.
still part of it, but he's
Well,
mellowed out.
put it this way. Oh, see, to be fair, mate, back in his prime, he made me look calm.
I know,
I said,
but remember as well, that was all acted out kind of thing. But he's
see, to be fair,
I think
like
they've
some
all
of the
lost
games
their
lost their edge.
yeah. I think they've been doing the same thing too long. Gavin, who Gavin Free does slow mo guys, like from that,
Yeah.
and that's where he seems to be like more. It looks a lot better for him. I think he just does achievement hunter stuff, because he enjoys playing games with his friends. That's the
Yeah.
way I see it. It's not, and you know what? That's fair enough. But like I was saying that, like, on YouTube anyway, the reason why I don't upload VODs of my gameplay is Let's Plays are dead,
Oh,
or they're damn near dead. It's only
I
like the
wouldn't say they're dead. I
it's
wouldn't
only
say
the
they're dead. I would
die-hard
say,
viewers that would watch them.
yeah,
Um,
the the difference between it all is ever since multiplayer came into play, like a perfect way of speaking about it is both of us come from the 90s brand. We're 90s kids in a
yeah,
sense, so our gaming experience started late 90s, early 2000s, and that was at that time it was the single player starting to die off into the multiplayer.
yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I think we're going
So that's
back
why,
the way a single player. And we're going the way of competitive multiplayer now. Not like messing around multiplayer like
well,
GTA, Minecraft, all that. We're now back to more
yeah,
competitive based.
well, I've like I said, the ways to think about it, like competitive wise, as I said at the very first of our podcast, my first ever experience with a competitive game set was an arcade.
Yeah, yeah,
With Street Fighter 2. So that was my first, if you want, taste of a PvP multiplayer type situation and competitive, because at the time you don't even realize it, but you're sitting there and it's just a sheer case of okay, I want to win, I need to win this, and all of a sudden you start, as soon as you get older and you look back and you're like to yourself, wow, I was very highly competitive back then,
yeah,
and now you know what it strands from. But
yeah. Because
as I
that's the
said
thing.
though, like the single player is the thing for me. I love my single player games as much as the next person. Like, well, come on, my favorite game of all time is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I could
Mhm.
play that 1,000 times over and over and over. Yeah, yeah, I might be starting to lose my hair because of that water temple, but you know what? It's worth it.
Aye, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, but you'll have your kind of your love of gaming from somewhere. But that's the thing is
We all do.
like where
We all do.
you're looking at it as just kind of like platform wise, you gradually see it change. I think it changes first on Twitch. I think
Yeah,
believe it or not, because a lot of the people now they're cross platform, so they're Twitch and YouTube, but they're YouTube for uploading content, and Twitch obviously for the kind of live stuff, and they'll use part of their live stuff for YouTube itself. But I think as people watch content change on Twitch, that's where it then gradually bleeds over into YouTube. Because what you're seeing now is that the people from Rooster Teeth they're really late to the game. They have a large audience for it. Is they're late to the game for streaming. So their thing was.
I'm just sitting here now. Sorry to interrupt you again. I'm just sitting here like we were discussing there about the single player dying. I've just decided to go into the browser of Twitch. Okay, minus that you're just chatting. In the top 10, there is not a single player like at all, unless you want to include Grand Theft Auto in that. But most of the people are playing the multiplayer.
Most will be playing multiplayer. But then if you look, look in the top 20.
See that Path of Exile? Is that a single player or a multiplayer?
I don't actually know.
Could be a bit of both because it is an RPG, so it could be a bit of both.
Yeah. So for example, right. So
there you go. There we go. The first single player game, Super Mario 3D All Stars.
Yeah. Right. So it is. Yeah. Massive bit. So I'm just kind of going into browse just now as well to have a wee look. But your viewers high to low. So Minecraft could be single player.
Yeah, but again, majority of that.
Yeah.
Majority of people play that now have multiplayer servers.
And then you're probably looking at Hearthstone's 1v1.
But Hearthstone's is quite a big competitive wise game. It has got a lot.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's 1v1, but it's not based on like a multiplayer kind of scenario. GeoGuessr's not in like Hades is a single player game. That's just brand new. 17k.
There you go. That will die down quite quickly because the hype will disappear.
Yeah, you're probably right there. To be honest, I was thinking that it was.
Do you know what the single players? Do you want to know exactly where the single players lie right now? Like, see, for us, it would be a casual playthrough for us in a situation. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, but do you want to know where the real single players actually lie right now? People who play the single player games and where the die-hard fans are.
Whereabouts?
Speedrunning.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good point. I mean, there's like, just for talking's sake there. So,
if you type in a category, see if you type in right now into the categories, if you type in select a tag, type in speedrunning into the tag, and it just speedrun.
And that's where
this is where every single player game really is. There you go. Wreckfest, single player driving game. Mario All Stars, single player. Resident Evil, single player. I don't know why there's a guy doing a world run for Minecraft, but
hey ho, people are doing what they're doing. But no, that's fair. That's fair. I didn't actually realise as much as that. But that actually makes sense now. I would probably even go and say that, like, for example, well, when CK3 was at its peak, that was a single player game at this point because the multiplayer server wasn't working. Still, probably it is working, but not a lot of people are doing like competitive multiplayer in it yet because it's still got its first run of updates to kind of go through from launch to help with balance and things like that.
Yeah. Like, you can understand all that. Like, take some of the games that are out nowadays, okay? Like, Division 2 is one of the better games that I can mention to you because of the situational side of it all.
Yep.
With that game, you can play that as a single player, playing through it all.
Yep.
But the big catch onto that is, I'm playing by myself. People will start coming into your chat and going, you're playing? What level you on? Oh, that's good. If you need help, I can jump in and help you out. Aye. And then there you go. It turns out for that single player back into a multiplayer.
Aye, but that's the thing is, like,
one of the biggest guys who I watch doing it, opinion, he's one of the bigger streamers for me, DJ Tickle.
Yeah.
And what he does is in a sense, if you want, he does the speed run of the raids. He helps people complete the raids. And that's what he does on it. And again, as I said there's another aspect of just multiplayer.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Again,
it's gone back to
single player.
Aye, so I think fair enough then. So single player, but then again, so single player is a dying game type.
It's a dying genre, you know.
But what I would say is the people that are watching single player are watching it maybe not just for the actual content, They're watching it for the streamer then.
Yeah, watching it for the personality.
Yeah, and that's probably it. Because and I don't know how it would have been on different platforms. Like you would need to look through YouTube. You'd need to look through Mixer's old data. You would need to look through. I mean, I think to be fair, Trovo I think was pretty much the same. But Trovo is too small to count as.
Mate, like I said there, if you go to categories, basically on there is, if you want out of the top 20 or so games,
Uh-huh.
you're lucky to pick off a single player.
I know you're right. I didn't realise it was as bad as that.
Okay. By single player, I'm not meaning you're playing by yourself. If people are watching, by single player, I'm meaning it is a set storyline with no way to go afterwards.
Aye.
I'll take it into consideration this way. Take in Super Mario 64, for example. Yeah, that was a single player, but it was an open world single player. You can choose what missions to do at what times.
Yeah.
Yes, at the start of it, you were stuck with one door, so that was your set route at the start. The minute you started collecting the stars to open other doors, choose any other door you wanted to go in and start doing those missions.
Yeah, that makes sense. Aye.
As I said, the reason I'm saying it like that is for a set single player game is it has no multiplayer aspect on it. So you're looking at the likes of your Crash Bandicoots, your Spyro the Dragon, all your Zelda games really. All the Zelda games are basically multiplayer, except for the Three Swords. The Three Swords was the first ever Zelda multiplayer game.
Aye, but what I would say though is the fact is, I think what you would find is on their release, for the single player, they'll peak for a while, and then once people have seen the story, then they die off. So maybe it's not quite a death. Maybe it's more of like a seasonal thing when the games are launched. Maybe you'll look at it that way.
It is. It's the way to think about it is like a seasonal thing, as you said. But the only way the majority of these single players are kept alive are through the speedrunners.
Oh, I know you're right there. I think without them, but then also when the bigger personalities play them for fun, because that's what they would do, is they would play them for fun.
There we go. That's when we start bringing into. That's when you start bringing into another topic of it, which is, in a sense, you could say it like this: your big personalities come into a game. Like one of the bigger personalities I could tell you now, a really really funny guy to watch if you can take it is XQC.
Right? Was that the guy? No, it wasn't the guy that you sent to me. Was it? It was.
No, that was V Baby.
No, I'm.
Combat Viewer.
Maybe you've sent me him before. That's what I'm thinking. I recognise the name, but
yeah, that was the one I showed you his rage compilation when he was playing Fortnite when he kept getting trolled after the banana.
That's the one. Yep.
And as I said though, you can take him for example. He has a very very loyal follower base, and he can jump about any game category. And just to prove the point of it, I've seen him. He started off in Overwatch and he grew because of the way he was. He moved into Fortnite, still kept his numbers. Moved to COD, kept his numbers, so on and so forth. And the perfect example for it as well. And I can even tell you the numbers that they're sitting on right now. Right. 6, I'll tell you right now. Where is it? This category. There we go. This category right now is sitting on 888 viewers, which is Tekken 7.
Right.
It's a fighting game. He played that for one day, and in that one day, he pulled almost 40,000 people in to watch him play that. And the majority of people went in to watch him play it, went in to watch him get his ass kicked if you want. The people who play the game
regularly, the ranked playlist. Aye, that's insane. That's actually because I don't follow a lot of I don't tend to follow a lot of the bigger streamers for these things. Biggest streamer I follow is, believe it or not, someone in my kind of area games is Tommy K. And I mean, he's the kind of controversial one, but his maximum.
Yeah, I remember watching the video. When Crusader Kings first came online. As you said to me, you had like the developers going, and he went live the same time as the developers, just to spite.
Yep, that kind of thing. He just basically, I predicted it. I knew he was. Well, he announced he was going to do something, but I didn't think he was going to go live at the exact same time. And he just absolutely memed it because he hadn't even downloaded the game. He wasn't even ready to download the game. He had a full intro to the stream. Like it was mental. But like, I think what you find is a lot of people follow the single players for the game type, for the game type, and then with the streamer's personality on top.
Well,
that's if
myself,
they
mate,
enjoy it.
I like watching the speedrunners.
Yeah.
Personally, myself, I like watching speedrunners, right? And I like watching speedrunners who do the speedrun right, i.e., start to finish. Because in your older games, for example, like I'll use Zelda again. Take Zelda Ocarina of Time for the N64. You could glitch your way through that game in less than 20 minutes. Less than, I think it was like 10 minutes.
But that's the thing is, some people will watch for people to do these glitches, more so in video form. But some people might do it to basically do for a charity, like speedruns a certain amount of games, and they obviously do it through the glitches and things like that. Because I know I've seen that happen before, which is fair enough. It's for a good cause, but it's not the content that people might be wanting to watch for it. If you know what I mean.
Well, see if you want it, mate. Like, see, there you go. As I said, I'll use the Zelda for it. I've seen somebody glitch that in basically less than 10 minutes if you want.
Yeah.
That was start to finish. Do you want to know how many hours of content are actually in that game if you play the game start to finish and go for 100%?
It's probably like 20 odd, 30 odd hours.
Well, you're actually a long, long way off. There is 12 hours of gameplay in that if you start to finish.
Right.
And that's including doing all the side missions, collecting all the sculptures, getting the bigger on-sword, doing the wee events inside the Hyrule Fields and everything. There's 12 hours of gameplay.
I was only thinking that, but although it was an older game, I was thinking because it, even though it was a game, there would have been things that you'd have had to have kind of grinded like that. But obviously, 12 hours for an older game still monetary value kind of thing.
Well, the game itself, mate, was released in 1998. So for a game back then, and think about it, it was a cartridge game, so it isn't like a CD or anything. You can squeeze as much data on it as you want these days.
Aye, no, you're fair there, man. You're fair. Yeah.
Even if you want to talk about that, take LA Noire when it first was released back in 360. When I first bought that back in 360, it came in 3 discs because of how big the game was.
Mass Effect did as well. So did Mass Effect 2. On the 360, you couldn't actually play it on a single disc. It was just that big a game. And yet I remember the loading screen where it came up, and you were going to. You went to if you didn't go to the first planet, then you had to swap the disc, go to the next one, and I just remember that because it was just so. I didn't actually understand why, because I thought you could have stored all this or saved it all on the Xbox, but back then it was obviously a lot less on the hard drive because.
When I think I first got my Xbox, it was 250 gigs in the hard drive.
Yeah.
When I first got it.
And that was the Elite, was it not? That was the 360 Elite.
It might have been actually. You might be right. You're actually right. I actually only had a 60 gig Xbox.
Aye, because that's the thing is.
60 gig Xbox.
Because that's the thing is, I remember when the Elite came out, I had the original white Xbox and the Elite.
6 months. Even this, my phone has more data back in that Xbox.
That's the thing. Gig. When you start thinking about it, it's insane.
Well, but, one of the more perfect examples if we want to start talking about like your storage and everything. Take a floppy disk back in the day, 128 megabytes, and I think it was basically say that by about that. And now look at the wee toy memory cards you're getting nowadays.
I know.
Here's this wee memory card. Oh, bro, how much does this hold? Oh, 370 gig.
I know, it's mental. I mean, just it's crazy amounts of storage anyway. But like you're thinking on it. From like what we're at now. I mean, I don't even have a.
One thing I like about this podcast, mate.
Yeah. One thing you like about it?
On you go.
Oh no, sorry. I was like kind of thinking about the actual storage in my PC. Is like and I've already almost used most of it from videos, like for editing, VODs from my streams, games, and I'm just like. Where the hell is all my where the hell is all that gone? But then you think back to when you first played Call of Duty 4 on the disc, and you were to have 120 odd meg for storage, and then you wouldn't be much for the DLC and things like that.
Yeah, but, like, that was the crazy part of it. Welcome in, Ryan, my friend. How are you?
How's things, Ryan?
That was one of the crazier parts about it, mate. Like. as I was saying, one of the craziest things that you think about, my PC cell, I've got a 250 gig SSD drive and a 1 terabyte hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my SSD drive has 2 games on it, and it's the 2 games I play most. It's just so they'll load quicker.
Yep.
And then the terabyte hard drive's got the rest of it. But as I was saying, one of the craziest things that I was thinking about there when I was talking to you, what I love about this podcast, we put this down as a subject about talking about streaming platforms and the monetization of Twitch. We have completely went off of that topic in a sense to just talk mainly about platforms now, like
Yeah,
game
that's
platforms.
just what we do, man. Is like we start talking. Like that's the thing is we can. I mean, the amount of shit we can talk. To be fair, we can lose 2-3 hours in an afternoon, and it takes us 15 minutes for me for us to event. Like, so you'll be like, one more thing, and then I'll be like, actually, fuck it, I've remembered something else I need to say, and it's just just doesn't end. But like you're thinking on it is you're right. Things have changed, but also if you look back at it, streaming platforms have changed. So what I would love to see be what has been the top 20 games streamed on Twitch since it started, and I bet you there will be a YouTube video of that, and that would be an interesting watch, so you can actually understand. Hold on, how much actually has changed, and why is all that changed? Because it's basically just changing viewer habits.
One of the things that I would love to watch personally myself, like, and I would like to find out, is I would love to see a statistic of games from, if you want, say, the list of the top 5 games played in early 2000s to the list of top 5 games played today.
Yeah. GTA 5 and Skyrim still. No, I'm kidding. But like you'll find that that's probably not changed that much. And that's
the thing is, though,
like it'll be like you'll find a Call of Duty, but it'll be multiplayer.
Oh, I don't think you'll find a Call of Duty. Call of Duty didn't start getting released till late 2000s.
No, but the original Call of Duty, so Call of Duty 3 was massive at the time because that was multiplayer on the PS2. And I'm sure Call of Duty 2 was as well. You'd have found that Medal of Honor was at that point would have probably
one of the greatest games ever.
But Medal of Honor probably would, at that time was still the same size of player base, if not maybe slightly more. And I can see Ryan's having wonderful internet problems just now.
Well, there you go. The first ever Call of Duty released was released back on October 29th, 2003.
2003, so I said early 2000s anyway. I thought it was a wee bit earlier, to be fair, but that's maybe just me. But
it's always going to be a crazy one when you think about it, mate. Regardless of what way you do look at it, it will always be a crazy one.
That's something I'm going to probably look up for myself. Is just to see what the actual difference was like from when Twitch first started, and then from what it's became now.
Well, I'll put one out for this, guys. All right, for the people here in the chat, where's it now? What do you remember your first experience of a single player game? Like I said, my very first ever experience of a single player game, it was a game I fell in love with. It was back in the N64, and it was Zelda.
I think for me, I remember different ones. But it was
Sky Ryan. There's just no arguing there.
That explains it. But it's just issues constantly with them. But no, I remember PS1 Pandemonium was one of them. One of the
PS1 games I played was the Harry Potter game.
I think I remember playing that as well. It was PS1 was that Pokemon on the Game Boy, and there's I know
a good subject to talk about.
I know, God, don't. Up until
Sonic the Hedgehog and Assassin's Creed with Ryan's. What about yourself, Babs? What was yours?
I could see Sonic the Hedgehog for like a first kind of single player, but Assassin's Creed, that was quite late single player.
Well, see, like I said, like Sonic, you can understand. I never really played a Sonic game. Sonic was introduced to me later on. I wasn't a big Sega fan. I was always Nintendo at the time. Sorry, it was a good question. What was your first experience of a single player game? We somehow managed to go completely off tandem with our subject, and we're talking about single player versus multiplayer now.
Why not? I mean, we spoke about our topics more or less, and then we've just kind of went on to the.
Blame this.
Aye.
Blame this.
I don't even think we've had enough to blame it on that. I think we've just kind of came full circle at this point.
Yeah, most likely.
Thank God for Hogwarts Legacy. But I would say, if I think on it, like games of single players of
Hogwarts Legacy.
Aye, single player.
Think about PS1 Hagrid.
God.
Wait, that's something. That's something actually. Wait a minute.
Poor Hagrid, man. Did him dirty. They did him dirty.
I mean, like.
I know.
What is it?
Here we go. Wait, traumatise me.
Oh, sakes, man. If this traumatizes you, mate, I would seriously think about going away. Save it. Man, let's pull this out. Shall we pull this image up on screen?
Aye, if you want, mate.
Pull it up on screen.
Aye.
Pull it up on screen.
Aye, go for it. Go for it. We know what we're up against.
Broccoli. Thanks so much for the raid, bro. Oi, oi. Alright, if you want me to pull it up on screen, mate.
Aye, terrify them. Terrify the raiders. Bring them.
PS1 Hagrid. PS1 Hagrid.
Oh my God. Oh.
We're not saying that. Think about this, mate. Back in the day, that was top-notch graphics.
I know. That's insane. That is absolutely insane.
B-Boy, since you're here as well, mate, I'll throw the same question out to you because somehow we've managed to flip across to this subject. What was your first experience with a single-player game? Like I said, mine was back in, if you want, I'll go right back my age. I was 1998 with Zelda. Reece, what did you say yours?
Mine was PS1 Pandemonium, or
I'm still scared of everybody with this Hagrid.
I know. Or it was Pokemon Blue for me. Pokemon Blue and Red. Tetris for Babs.
I feel like PS1 Hagrid all the time lately, and I don't know how to fix it.
That's kind of a good way to kind of describe coronavirus. Everyone feels like PS1 Hagrid just now. Oh, but
Tetris, that's a good one. That is
I know.
Babs.
I did play Tetris when I was younger as well. To be fair,
how good was the Tetris theme tune? The old bloody Russian. It was an old Russian folk song, wasn't it?
Oh,
or an old Russian folks tune.
Can't remember. I just remember the tune. It was top quality EDM. But aye, oh here we go, demonetized. I'm joking. But like, even at that, so you're thinking on it, like, with games coming full circle, I think multiplayer is king now, and in time it'll probably change back.
Reece, do me a favour, pronounce this word.
Oh God, right. What
you pronouncing that?
Have you put it in the chat?
No, it's on screen. It's on the stream screen now. Try pronouncing that. The one I've highlighted.
You'll need to make it slightly bigger for me, mate, because hold on, actually, I'll just put this full. Korobainek. Bain?
There you go.
Yeah, Korobainek, possibly. Although
that's the name of the screen.
I probably have butchered it.
Oh, most likely. Yeah, I've had an acid test infection, so I was forced time. Oh, I hope you had recovered fast.
Oh, I
back in PS2 days.
Aye, Babs. Hope you're doing better.
How good is that? But yeah, it's when you think about it, like I said, mate. Think about just like the full circle the way games are going to go. Because I'll put money on it, saying like the next 5 or 10 year time, we'll probably go back more into retro style again. Because all these retro games are starting to come back into fashion.
Yeah, and I think retro itself is actually quite a popular actual topic though on Twitch. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I went to a retro gaming convention, and they were literally had the likes of your Dreamcast, your Sega Saturn. They even had the old handheld Sega console that you could get. I think it only came with like 6 games.
Oh, aye, that's a long time ago though. It's insane.
Ran the double A batteries, and you were sitting there like that when you're in a car. You're in the car driving, trying to turn to get the streetlights.
I remember having my Game Boy, trying to get a bit of light on it so I can actually see what I was
I'll
doing.
put one thing forward: you millennium kids do not know the struggles.
I know. Imagine being able to turn up brightness on your screen. Like the struggle was real when you couldn't do that. Remember when
I always remember the car rides and everything. Whenever I was doing a car ride, there was always Pokemon. It was in the Game Boy, just because you didn't have to worry about trying to be fast with the game.
But it was the Game Boy Advance SP when you had the button for brightness, but it just destroyed your battery life to like an hour and a half or something. So you would always be like hoping that you were home before it was dark.
What's that? What's that? We're going for a drive. Oh, where are we going? We're going to Manchester today. We're flying out later on. Okay, I fully charged my Game Boy. Sit in the car. First hour into the journey, red light appears. I'm like, this was fully charged an hour ago.
Aye, or you have people. You were like me, and you had the super battery pack that lasted an extra like 2 hours or something.
We talk about 2 hours. You got an extra 20 minutes.
Aye, well, fair. That was that when as I got older.
Do you know when mate, we're slagging the hell out of stuff like this, okay?
But this was us.
Think about it this way. Think about it this way, mate. The first original Game Boy I ever had was the big yellow thing, the big brick.
Yeah, I didn't. I had the Game Boy Color. I
didn't get that till later on. But as I say, think about it this way, mate. That was the first ever Game Boy I ever got my hands on, okay?
Yeah.
Two AA batteries in that lasted you near enough 3 months, and that was it getting played solid.
I know, that was insane. And then as time went on though, like you would notice that it couldn't run on the same power. Like it was the first couple of months it was just insane.
Well, mate, four videos watching one of these things, man. You need to change it. You start charging up the battery.
I know, it's insane, but it's the amount of power going through. But man.
What we thinking, mate? Shall we start? There we go. No, I'm fluctuating. There we go.
Was that you starting to burn out and die?
That was the internet starting to have a fit with itself. So, what are we thinking, mate? Should we have a wee bit of a wrap up here, a quick 10-minute break, and then jump into some Among Us?
That sounds like a plan. That sounds like a fairly reasonable plan, mate. Let's call it like let's kind of just summarise and where we were. Because obviously from your raid coming in, we were talking about streaming platforms and where they were and where they've kind of came, the kind of history behind them and what was kind of going on with them, and then from monetisation of them, talking about the kind of mid-roll ads on Twitch, how they haven't they're starting to come in. We don't know anything about them. The fact that they've just kind of said we're going to do this to make more money, and how it's going to affect the kind of smaller streamers themselves, because we will basically be left not knowing what's going to kind of come of it, because we have no control over these ads and what will affect us, which I understand from a business standpoint, but I mean, I also as a smaller streamer, it's good to be able to do reasonably well and be able to not basically cut off your followers when they want to interact with you. But hey ho, we're at the whims of Twitch and what they want to do with us. Is it fair? No. Can we do anything?
No.
Will we ever be able to do anything about it? We can try, but I think until we get more clarity, we'll get a lot more out of it, to be fair. And I think that's probably the best way of looking at it, is in time we'll probably know more and be able to kind of try and take it from there. Just to hope that we find out more before it happens.
Yeah, until that day comes, all we can do is for everybody crack on what we're doing, enjoy what we're doing. We're all gamers.
Exactly.
We all come from the same strand.
That's that way.
Idiot.
Idiots. That's what we are. All idiots. That enjoy just doing what we're doing.
And, some of us more than others. Some of us more than others.
I'm alright with that, to be fair. I'll agree with that, mate. Don't worry. I'm quite happy with that one. But I think that's probably as good a point as any to wrap up.
Yep.
You do the intro, I'll do the ending. So that's been the end to episode 0.2 of the ScotsRant podcast. With me, Reece 1.
Me, Gizzy the Gremlin.
We will be staying on for a little bit longer. We're going to be playing some Among Us after a wee 5-10 minute break for ourselves. So if you want to kind of stay tuned for that. We did obviously have a guest for tonight. That kind of fell through, but we are looking to have him back on in 2 weeks' time with what we believe will probably be episode 1. But we will see. We will see.
We are
As in, like, with whether or not it's going to be our actual launch episode or if it's going to be a continuation of the 0 points. But thanks very much for.
Put it this way, opinionally, if we go for another 0 point, I think we bring in part 1 of Drunken Adventure.
That might be 0.5. Maybe I could maybe go with 0.5 to be fair.
We'll see what happens.
But that would be interesting. But anyway, we'll pause for now. We're back in kind of 5 to 10 minutes, and we will be back playing some Among Us then.